All right, hunters, it's official. I've already spawned the brand new Great One Grey Wolf in early access, and today I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it too. I'll walk you through the best hotspot locations, my full grinding setup, and every tip and trick that helped me make it happen. If you want that Great One Wolf in your lodge, this is the guide you've been waiting for. Let me know in the comments which map you plan to do your grind on, and let's jump right in. Okay, so the Great One Grey Wolf comes to all three platforms on Tuesday, October the 21st, which is today. Now, there are 3 different maps that you can do this grind on. You can do it here in Yukon Valley, where wolves drink from 0 to 3. You can do it in a ski ridge, where wolves also drink from 0 to 3. Or you can do it in Medved Taiga, where wolves drink from 17 to 20. So if you are looking for some daylight, Medved might be the map for you. Now, a ski ridge is super thick, so I wouldn't choose a ski as my first place to do a grind. I think Medved or Yukon are definitely the best maps. I did choose Yukon, and while it worked out pretty great, I got a great one in 423 kills. Now, I did not use any herd management for this grind. Let me tell you exactly what I did, and it isn't much. So I actually was grinding with my friend Chopper, who, by the way, spawned his Great One Wolf yesterday after about 650 kills, doing the same strategy. So this definitely works. And together, it was actually his idea, is to just find 8 drink zones. Now, I would recommend setting up on zones that have multiple males and at least 2 females. You want larger males, level 6 and up, and set up with 2 tents, a shooting tent, like right here, and a pickup tent, and then drop a tripod so that you can quickly fast travel into the tent, jump to the tripod, shoot your wolves, fast travel over, pick them up, and head to the next zone. So that is what we did. We didn't know if we'd get consistent respawns, but we did. So that is what we continued to do. I didn't even find my zones, which was delightful. Well, wolves are a predator, so you don't have to find all your drink zones when you're grinding for predators. Now, wolves are kind of different. A lot of predators, all they have are solo zones. Wolves do have lots of pack zones, and that is what you want to set up on. You never want to set up on a solo zone because the zone will delete and there'll be nothing to shoot next time you go there. So I would recommend setting up on zones that have at least 5 or 6 wolves in them. We were noticing a lot that when you set up on zones of 4 and you have 2 males and 2 females, after a little while, you're going to go down to only having 1 male. And to keep your grind efficient, you want to be shooting 2 males at all times. So set up on at least 5 or 6 wolves, and that is going to give you the best result. Now, let me show you my loadout. And you don't have to use tripods. You can use these awesome duck blinds. They're half the price of tripods. Tripods are 16,000 in-game dollars, and the duck blinds are only 8,000. And you can find them in the Duck and Cover DLC. So when I'm starting my grind, this is what I was carrying. Now, I would recommend using a correct caliber rifle. So you want a class 4 to 8 rifle so that you don't ruin any rares, especially when you're grinding in the dark. It can be very difficult to notice when you're shooting a rare. Now, if you pay really close attention, you might notice, but I promise you, if I was using the 300, I would have ruined my first 2 rares because I did not notice that they were rare until I picked them up. So then, of course, you're going to have your ammo. The only sight I am carrying is the Angler Night Vision Rifle Scope that you will find in the Scopes and Crosshair DLC. Then I do have the Predator Distress Fawn Collar. That is the correct collar for Grey Wolves. Didn't use it too much, but it's good to have. I do have a first aid kit, because, man, they can be very aggressive. I have my Gen 0 night vision binoculars, and then as I am setting up, I have tents and tripods. Now, once I am all set up, and I don't really need tripods anymore, then I will get rid of the tripod. I always keep tents because beavers could knock your tents out. You want to have tents with you. And then I would add 1 weapon, and that weapon is going to be a bow as a defensive weapon. Now, the reason you want a bow is because they give you reduced hunting pressure. So if you do get surrounded by a pack of wolves, you can take them out and you won't blow your zone out. So I'm going to take the Hawk Edge CV70, which is a non-DLC bow. Then I have the 600 grain broadhead tracer arrows. You don't have to have tracers. You can just use regular broadhead. Sorry, not 600, 420s. That was for the albino moose that I shot yesterday. You want the 420 grain. I must have it on me. Hold on. Yes, I do. So this is what you want, the 420 grain broadhead arrows or the 420 grain broadhead tracer arrows. Both will work perfectly well. And then I actually just used the Brightside single pin sight which is another non-DLC item. Throw that in the inventory. It weighs 0 kilograms. Well, that's pretty sweet. And I still have room if I want more in my inventory. That is my loadout while I'm doing the grind after I am done setting up. Now, wolves drink from 0 to 3 here in Yukon. Now, when I'm setting the time back, I set it to 1:30. I find that anytime I set the time to earlier than 1:30, there's just nothing to shoot. But when I set it to 1:30 or after, there are usually wolves in the zone. Now, I'm dropping my tent at about 250 meters away from the wolf drink zone, and I'm dropping my tripod at about 170 to 200 meters away from the zone. Then you want to fast travel over to your pickup tent, pick up your kills, and quickly go to the next zone, and just keep doing that. You want to accumulate kills fast because you want that great one to spawn fast, right? That is what we all want. Now, if you show up at a zone and there is no wolves to shoot, say you come to a zone and this is what you see, I found that doing the 1-minute trick, putting the time forward by 1 minute, that usually brings animals into their zones. But for some reason, for the wolves, that did not bring them in. So what I did instead was just exit to the main menu and come back. Now, they weren't always in their zone when I came back, but I would say a good 90% of the time, they would be there waiting to be shot. So that worked awesome. And it was free, my favorite price. So I'll show you where I am set up. I actually started looking for zones. Wolves can be at any of these 4 lakes. Now, I didn't have any wolves at this zone. They can be there, just for me in particular, I didn't have any there. So I was set up on these 3 to start with, but after a while, you'll find that your zones may peter out. You may start to get 1 male, or sometimes they just go all female. In that case, it's time to pull up your setup and head to another drink zone and set up. So I moved my setup from here to right over here. But this is a great place to start. These 3 lakes are awesome as well. And Chicken Leg Lake is loaded with wolves. You're also going to find wolves intermittently around this gigantic lake, but not a fan of that lake. I much prefer the smaller ones. And this zone right here is where my great one spawned, and don't worry, I am going to show him to you in today's video. Now, this is his feed zone. That is where we're going to be shooting him from. Now, when you're shooting, you want to try and shoot your 2 biggest males from each zone. So let's see what we have here. We have a 3, female, a 7. See, I have 1 male here. Well, if that's the case, if you only have 1, then you're shooting 1. But you do want to shoot 2 from each zone if possible. So probably when I come to this zone next time, I will probably have 2. But if I continue to only have 1, I will pull up and set up somewhere else. But for right now, let's shoot them. Beautiful. So you're going to have a green circle where the animal was shot. That is where you want to head to. They shouldn't be too far away. And there is our wolf. Now, wolves pay so amazingly well. I just got on the map. When you first get on, they're going to pay a little less than normal because you need to get your quick kill bonus going. But after you shoot a few, wolves are going to pay you between $1,500 and $1,600 when you get a vital on a large male being a level 6 and up. That's pretty crazy. So on this grind, I have already gone up close to $300,000. That's insane. It helps that I'm not doing 1-minute tricks, for sure. Now, this lake, I actually have 2 zones, and I am grinding both of them, and I'll show you how I'm doing. Let's head over there. Okay, so here's my tent. It is actually set up to grind the furthest zone, which is 257 meters away. But I have a zone right here as well, which is 215 meters, and they are in that zone as well, but I have a terrible wind. Now, I can't shoot them here. I don't prefer to do that. So what I do is I first come into this tent. I pick the 2 biggest males out that I plan to shoot, which is going to be these 2 level 7s. Then I'm going to put a waypoint on where I spotted them so I know exactly how far they are away from me. Now, if I'm being lazy, I can just jump into the tripod and shoot them from 300 meters, but I'm going to have a better chance of getting 2 of them at the same time when I shoot from a little bit closer. So we're going to get into the closer tripod. Now, the wolves in the closer zone may spook. That's okay. Yeah, some of them are alert, but we're not worried about them. Okay. So what I do is I get a visual on the 2 males that I want to shoot. I will try to be patient here. Now, the first thing you want to do before you shoot is turn off your light. If you don't, what is going to happen is when you go to take your second shot, it's it's going to be really hard to see because the smoke from your rifle is going to be illuminated by the light and it's going to impair your view basically. I'm going to take 2 without the light, and then at the next zone, I will show you what it looks like if you don't turn your light off. Okay, so I will then wait for both of the wolves to give me somewhat of a broadside, and that way I know most of the time I can get 2 down. Now this may take a little bit of practice. It is definitely more difficult on a controller than it is on mouse and keyboard, but definitely practice, you're only going to get better at it. And if you only get 1, that's okay. Go pick it up, exit to the main menu, then come back and shoot the second one. Okay, here we go. There's 1. You have a split second to take that second shot, and we got them both. So I just watch them until they go splat. And splat. Beautiful. And I'll put a marker so that I don't have to track. But I do like to do this grind with my bloodhound, and I would recommend using a tracker dog. It's actually not a bloodhound. It's a retriever that tracks. Same thing. Does the same job. But you'll notice that when you go to pick up your wolves, there is a lot of brush in Yukon, and it can be very hard to see the wolves when they're laying under the brush. And your dog will definitely help you with that. The dog will definitely save you a lot of time looking for your kills. So there's 1. Beautiful. $1,308. And we got a double lung from 184 meters, I believe. Oh, I don't know where it is. I thought it was over here, but maybe it was the other green circle, the one we just picked up. Oh, there it is. Thank you, dog. I always get the dog to heal before I pick it up so I don't have to listen to that annoying barking the entire time I'm in the trophy scorecard. So we're still at only $1,353. That's 3 kills. Let's go shoot a couple more and see when they are going to increase the price. Okay, so now I want to grind this other zone at the lake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the tent where I plan to shoot from. Now you might think that I would then exit to the main menu and come back, but I'm actually going to fast travel away one more time. Now the reason I'm doing this is because when you come back onto the map, the game often puts you at the second last location that you are at and not the last location. And if that happens, it's going to put me right where my wolves are, and that's going to spook the wolves that I want to shoot, and that is not going to work for me. So I'm going to fast travel one more time to make sure that doesn't happen. It pretty much happens all the time. Now, it is getting late. Wolves actually usually don't stay in their zone until right at 3 o'clock. They often will leave at 2:45. So I would actually put the time back first, and you definitely want to do this in a tent, but let's try it. So now I'm going to exit to the main menu and come back. Let's see where it puts me. Okay. So it did put me back at the outpost, and that is totally fine. At least my wolves are not spooked, so we're going to go to the tent where we want to shoot. Now, the reason you're going to exit to the main menu and come back after shooting the first zone of wolves is so that the wolves will no longer be spooked and they will be back in their zones. Now, they might not be there because of the time, but maybe we'll get a couple kills in before the end of drink time. But remember, when you put your time back, put it to 1:30, so there'll be something to shoot. Always a bonus. And they're here. Beautiful. And even they're still in the closer zone as well. They can spook, that's okay. And over here we have a 7. Always check every wolf and look for ones that look different. Now, it seems like I only have a 4 and a 7 for males. Oh, there's 2 7s. Sweet. That is what we're shooting. So I get a visual on the 2 I want to shoot. I know exactly where I'm going to swing my rifle over to when I'm shooting the first one. Beautiful. And we got them both. Now, another trick for getting your shot every time is to shoot from about 200 meters or 225 meters. If you're that far away, aim for spine and you will get your shot every single time. Okay, so the great one is not in the zone right now, but I have another zone over here and they are in the zone. Now, if you have zones where you can drop a tent right in the middle, that is going to save you 1 tent. So this tent is actually a shooter tent for this zone and for this zone. That gives me 1 extra tent, and hey, that's only a good thing. So because of that, I have 1 extra tent here because I have to have my tents further back in order to shoot at both zones. So then I have a tent for picking up, and that 1 extra tent came in very handy. Okay, so I'm going to show you my little spine shot trick. So this zone is about 215 meters away from me. Wish I had a broadside. Oh, I do. We have an 8 mythical and a 7, 2 6s. Lots of males. So I'm going to go for the 8 and the 7. So I'm going to 0 to 150, turn off the light, and I'm going to aim for spine. Now with this angle, I may not get the shot on the 7. It's better if they're broadside. I'm going to wait a second, see if he'll turn for me. Sometimes it's better to shoot a broadside 6 than go for a 7. That's giving you a frontal shot because there's a good chance you're just not going to get that shot. But we're going to go for it. Okay, so you want to aim for spine. Now the reason this works is because I'm 0 to 150. This wolf is 225 meters, so wherever I aim, the shot is going to register lower. Let me check on these guys. All right, I'll still go for the 7. Here we go. I hope that was the 7. It was. I got them both. Yes. Perfect. Let's go have a look at those shots. So when you come out of the tent, turn your lights back on. If you don't have your lights on, you will not see tracks or blood. See, when I turn this off, see the blood a little bit, but you can't see much. So you do need the light, but you really can't see the wolves. There we go. So there's the 7. Beautiful. 210 meter shot. What I really want to see is the 8 mythical. So I aimed right for spine. Here he is. And I didn't have that much drop, but I really aimed for spine because I was 213 meters if I was a little further, but it still worked. If you aim for spine and you're at least 210 meters away, you are going to make your shot. And look at that, $1,620. Isn't that sweet? That is some pretty crazy money. Now let's talk about the rares for gray wolves, and there are a lot of them. So there are actually 7 different rares for gray wolves. There is dark gray, egg white, red brown, albino, melanistic, and the 2 newest rares, acromelanistic and melanistic charcoal. And I actually got a melanistic charcoal on my first wolf grind, and this is it right here. Isn't that sweet? So yeah, definitely pay attention to your wolves before you start shooting, because you don't want to mess up a sweet rare. So the outlined areas in yellow are everywhere where you can find zones for gray wolves when they are drinking from 0 till 3. Now the red X's are where I found my wolf zones the last time I looked for them, which wasn't this update, it was before they got reset, which was a little while ago. This time around, I didn't even look for my zones, I just set up on the first 8 and started shooting. You can actually see where my setups are for this grind, but it is actually a good idea to find all your zones so that you know exactly what is on your map, or you could miss out on a very cool trophy. And there is a hotspot map for every animal in the game in my Discord. I will leave the link on the screen and in the description below. And that's it. I literally had this grind set up and was grinding within about 30 minutes because all of these lakes had wolf zones and these lakes too. This is where I headed. I found zones everywhere. I set up quickly and I started shooting. Okay, there he is. Look at that. I can't believe that's on my map. So he took 423 kills. That is exactly what I did. So I started grinding on Tuesday night. I grinded for about 5 hours. Then on Wednesday, I shot for 12 hours straight. And then on Thursday at about 11 in the morning, after grinding for about 3 hours, he showed up. That's crazy. And by the time you see this video, he will be in my lodge. So that is how I spawned my Great One Wolf. That is all that I did. It really was pretty simple. And just find some zones, set up 2 tents, and start shooting. You can do it. I definitely believe in you. But if you did enjoy the video or learn anything at all, go ahead and splat that like button. And if you are new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button. Lots of content coming at you with the new release. And I plan to spawn many Great One Wolves. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to recommend that you click right here to watch me shoot my Great One Wolf in early access after 432 kills using this strategy.